I've always been a big documenter of every kind. I like to record things. I was really heavy into Polaroids, into instant film. But really, it kind of all sort of fizzled out around the time that digital cameras kind of came to the fore. And I went through this period where I just wanted a digital Leica. I was just oh, I just wanted to shoot, and I wanted to shoot without thinking about it, and I wanted to shoot without worrying about developing. And I felt that impulse. But at some point, from some Rip Van Winkle dream, I woke up and just remembered that I had this M6 that had been sitting there sort of dormant, and then a Pro Pack Polaroid camera, and then another land camera, and I bought a Mamiya Universal Press, and for a long time that was kind of my camera that I took with me everywhere. I always liked mistakes and light leaks and just all the things about film that kind of refer to itself, though that's become kind of an incredibly played out trope. I mean, nonetheless, I still really respond to it. My friend Ben Parks, he's a guy with whom I think I share a lot of pretty similar aesthetic and to some degree shooting style, and he gave me a roll of his 800T, and it was sort of weird because I like to shoot wide open, and it's 800 and it was the middle of the day, and the stuff came back and I was just like, holy shit. There was this kind of a sort of prefab aesthetic. It has these sort of built-in quality and these sort of aberrations, and that stuff just was super striking. What kind of inspires me are my friends and loved ones and people that I'm close to. So if it's not some kind of landscape type thing or urban landscape type thing or whatever, which I do plenty of as well, the people are generally going to be Roxanne, Bud. Kid ends up all over the place too. So actually the photograph that she and Roxanne are in together, it was the basis for the music video for one of the songs. In the video itself, I'm shooting on a Leica SL for the motion stuff, but then I shot a bunch of stills in it as well on CineStill 800 and Tri-X and CineStill 50. It sets it apart. I mean, it feels like film and the other stuff feels like video, and that's really how I wanted it to kind of be bifurcated. I've just always liked dreamy, multi-layered images. I think it's much harder to take a really brilliant single exposure than it is to get away with, making something that's kind of evocative and multi-exposure. So some part of me thinks of it as a bit of a cheat, and I've tried to sort of, challenge myself a little bit so that I'm not getting lazy. I like that you can tell a story in a single frame. Now, certainly you can do that without doing multi-exposures, but there's also a way to give something a narrative feel. I like being able to sort of manipulate reality, I guess, and I like the sort of woozy, ethereal dreaminess of them, which I think in many ways is just an accurate illustration of how I kind of experience the world. I have an incredibly active dream life that seeps into my waking life. I want to figure out what it is that I'm doing. I'm constantly sort of, dealing with these kind of dichotomies, I guess, and trying to figure out how to integrate them and balance them and do it in a way that is organic and is not just because I like this and I like that and I'm mishmashing it. So I'm still trying to find my voice. By taking these photos out of a certain context and putting them in another, they have a whole other meaning and resonance than when I initially shot them. It hadn't occurred to me to think what people would actually think of these photos. I know there's a narrative for me. Does that narrative exist in and of itself? Well, it's never been that literal even for me, and I think for others it's just a matter of what they take away from it. I'm not trying to create a message or anything. I just know that I get a certain feeling, whether it's spooked out or tickled by imagery, and maybe other people will as well, and maybe they'll draw their own experience into it. That's what's kind of exciting and also really scary, I guess, about making stuff is that at a certain point it really takes on a life of its own, and you're just no longer in control of it. I mean, I think hopefully that it does that. My name is Adam Goldberg. I'm an actor and also a filmmaker, a musician, and a photographer. That's about it.